You're listening to the 23 Personnel Podcast, a Texas Tech athletics podcast where food and sports clash at the goal line. Here are your hosts, Spencer and Michael.
All right, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the 23 Personnel Podcast. I am your host, Spencer, joined by Michael. Michael, what's up, man?
Spencer, I have breaking news. I am listening to the broadcast, the radio broadcast, as we wait for this rain delay to continue, as Tech is up 47-0 against Arkansas Pine Bluff. But apparently during that rain delay, Texas Tech reached out to a certain recruit, five-star recruit from the state of Oklahoma, who was actually on an official visit to, I believe, Arkansas, who has since made it public that he is committing to Texas Tech.
What?
And I have not, that this happened while the music was playing for the intro to this show. I have not had a second to Google it or look it up or anything, but that's kind of hilarious that happened during the rain delay.
And okay, so who is this recruit?
It's interesting. They would not say their name on the radio. I don't know if there's some weird thing about saying the name of what I assume is a maybe 17-year-old. But they were very cagey about saying who it was.
Well, because I know the coaching staff can't comment on it without creating some kind of whatever it's called, violation, but
yeah, maybe they were just trying to be proactive about that.
Yeah, so if you're listening to the recording, if you didn't catch that, Michael and I we hit record early on this bad boy.
Cooper Hackett
is about to
offensive tackle.
Okay, there you go. The second half is about to begin after a lengthy weather delay. Texas Tech is up 47-0, so felt comfortable to go ahead and put a wrap on this one. Texas Tech, I don't even know where to start. Like, there were things that I was really excited about watching this game. There were things that had me concerned, even though it was Arkansas Pine Bluff. And then there were things like, that's probably just me being unrealistic. Like, looking at the first half stats, Michael, the Golden Lions had 52 total yards. And that feels a lot lower than my recollection of watching the game. Like, there were several times I was like, wow, that's interesting. How'd they get free on that? Or how are they getting all that space? And why aren't we getting home on the pass rush? Blah, blah, blah. They averaged, hold on, where is it? 1.5 yards per play. That's it. 39 passing yards, 13 rushing yards. Converted 5 first downs. No, yeah. They're only 1 of 8 on third downs, 0 of 1 on fourth downs. 4.3 yards per completion, 0.8 yards per rush. Held the ball for a little more than 2 minutes more than Texas Tech. It just complete domination. One, you expected this with the level of opponent. It was a 3-9 FCS team from last season, plus going up against your roster this year. I think the things that were most concerning, I guess let me just start there, Michael. Things that were most concerning was the collection of injuries that were piling up already in the first half of this game. Now, one of them, obviously, with Dingle, that didn't look good. I don't even know how to feel like his chances to return. The hit on Morton,
yeah,
didn't look intentional. and in a spot in the game where, like, obviously he came out that I guess they took him back for some precautionary looks at his leg, and you were up 40-0 after that possession. So, like, obviously he wasn't going to be coming back anyways. But that was a scary moment. It's not an injury related, but the Mo Horn ejection for targeting, on the next possession following the Morton injury. Didn't love that. The ref breaking his leg, that was not a great
Oh,
a great
is that what
omen.
happened? I mean, I assumed that when they brought the card out and everything.
Yeah. So they showed exactly one replay of it, because I think when they showed the replay, like, yeah, we probably shouldn't show that again. He got leg whipped like mid shin, and it buckled. It was like very much Bryce Ramirez-esque, if you remember that replay where they showed it once, like, yeah, we probably shouldn't do that again. So one, wish him the best in his recovery. He's probably done for his season. I mean, broken leg. Yeah, yikes. Didn't love to see Dingle getting carted off. Obviously, Morton went to the locker room. McGuire said he was fine coming out of that, but so where do you want to start? I talked about, like, my expectations of, like, even their 52 yards felt like more than they should have had. This is first half yardage. Injuries. You were at the game. What were your impressions of seeing it all live?
Complete opposite of that. I mean, I was I was very pleased with how much pressure we were getting on the quarterback. That's something we haven't seen no matter who we've played. Texas Tech had 2 sacks. They had 5 tackles for a loss. Now, I know those obviously weren't all on the quarterback. They're credited for 4 QB hurries, which seems low to me. And for what it's worth, the game did just kick back off. It's 10:13 Central Time. And so the second half is underway with 2 8-minute quarters. That's how they're going to play this out. Yeah. But defensively, I was super impressed with what they're able to do. I don't know why the drive summary says that the first drive was 5 plays for 5 yards. Maybe, but anyway, they didn't get a first down till their third drive. They only got 5 altogether. You've already gone through the third downs. They were 1 for 8 on each of those third downs. They had 8.8 yards to go. I mean, what's not to like here? Kept them out of the end zone. Even when they punted, it was super sad. That first punt didn't even make it past the first down marker.
I think they said it was a 9-yard punt.
Yeah, I think it was. And they were punting, they had negative yards on that first drive pretty much. So I mean, I was very impressed with that. 2 of the, let's see, they had 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They had 9 drives. One of them ended at the half, so really 8. And 6 of them ended in punts. 1 was an interception, and 1 was on downs. I guess the one negative I could kind of come up with on the defense is there were some interceptions that were just flat out missed. Mm-hmm. I'm kind of picking nits here. It was. In the stadium, it truly felt dominant. That defensive front was blasting through these guys every play. And that Porter quarterback, his what do you call it? The way people act.
His demeanor?
Well, not just demeanor, but his body language. There you go. Because he was having to pick himself off the ground almost every play, whether it was technically a hurry or not. And man, he was shaking his head and he was looking at the refs and he was looking for help from anyone who would give it to him. And the Tech wasn't playing dirty. There was no reason to look at the refs, but I think the kid was just frustrated, and I don't blame him. he went 9 for 19. A lot of those were just absolute prayers. He had an interception, 39 yards on those 9 catches. So it was a tough day. It was a tough day to be trying to protect old Christian Peters back there. He was feeling it.
I'm going to go ahead and just get in front of this. I'm going to have a tough day here in a little bit. Adam Hill is in the game. His first rush, 15 yards up the middle. So,
well, I have a theory, kind of back to you were mentioning the Morton, how he got banged up. I believe it was announced on the, maybe not Tech's next drive, but during the next drive. It was the play before the referee was hurt. It was first announced in the stadium that there was weather coming. The game could possibly have a delay. We'll update you, all that kind of stuff. So I wonder if the coaches heard that and thought, even if Morton was good to go, let's put Hammond in case this delay does happen. And sure enough, it did. So obviously Hammond came in. So that's just a theory that I have no way of knowing if that was their thought process, but I hope that was it. I hope that was why they went ahead and made the change then, because they expected some possible weather delays and thought, well, shoot, let's let Hammond out there just in case we don't get to finish this game or something happens. Touchdown, 64-yard touchdown. Oh my goodness.
It says team rush on stat broadcast. If this is Adam Hill, I'm cooked. I'm just gonna shut it
You are
down,
absolutely cooked.
Dang it. No, I'm just kidding. That's great. Fantastic for him. He's going to have 100 yards in this. Shoot. He's at.
Was it him?
Team.
Yeah, it's just saying team. I would pull it up on ESPN Plus, but I don't trust my bandwidth as we record, so I don't.
Well,
I don't want to screw everything up.
Supposedly, I have a Wi-Fi extender in the room, but I have like 2 of 4 bars of Wi-Fi strength back here. Let me look real quick. Stat broadcast you think would be up to date by now, and it's not. It just says team rush. Y'all listen to this? I mean, if you're watching it or if you're catching this on the stream, y'all already know. We're just like, what are y'all doing? Why are you wasting so much time? Yeah, it's not pulling up for me either.
I'm sure it'll correct itself eventually.
Yeah, which is fantastic. I love that. I was when okay. So yeah, it has been dominant, and I think I probably just wanted to see them have like 0 total yards, have absolutely no positive movement on any play. If they dropped back to pass, and the pass rush was always in their face. If he got the ball out and it was in the air, then I wanted it batted down or intercepted. That kind of thing. And obviously that's not how the game is played ever, unless you're playing a video game. But 52 total yards given up offensively before this first drive, where you just took it, 80 yards. You had 390 first half yards. Morton finished 16 of 18 for 201 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. Will Hammond was 4 of 6 for 46 yards. Those Morton incompletions, I felt like were the exact same overthrow into the left receiver, wide receiver into the end zone. Everything else, man, it just felt like, obviously, if you are perfect every other attempt you throw, he was just crisp. Hopefully his knee issue was just a slight hyperextension, and they just pulled him out to 1 for evaluation, and 2 just to check on everything, and like, hey, we're up by 40, let's not worry about it anymore. And I in the moment I was heated. I was like, I can't believe that this is like, we're gonna have to deal with injuries and all this kind of stuff. I just skies falling, pink raid, or whatever you want to call me, even though I predicted Texas Tech to do what I did this season. obviously he wasn't diving for Morton's leg. He got it, like he glanced off a block funny into his leg. But I was like, are you serious? Are you serious right now? And then obviously like the stadium was pretty quiet. And then I think the next play or whatever that Texas Tech scored on their rush. There was a fantastic 2 moves there by Jacoby Williams. One, a juke in the backfield.
Yeah.
And the hurdle over the dude at like the 3. Yeah. He was just something else, man. But yeah, I mean, you put up 47 first half points. You scored on every drive. One of what, I would have loved to see, perfect all touchdowns on your first half drives. It's fine. You ended up 6 of 7 on third downs, or at least at this point, and probably maybe 5 of 6 in the first half. But it's just dominant. It's going to continue to get this way and probably even more lopsided. I think the over-under was 52 and a half. No, sorry. I think the line was 52 and a half. So you've already eclipsed that.
Well, I wanted to say something about that. I think that line was set after we recorded. So you and I both picked. We've had different scores, but we both picked Tech to win by 53. So my theory is that someone just listened to the podcast and thought, yeah, that sounds good.
Oh,
52 and a half. That's a good line.
3 and out, punt. Texas Tech gets the ball back. Tristan Gentry on the return. So you're getting some looks deeper on the roster here.
Yeah, and for what it's worth, Tech coming out 47-0 after almost a 2-hour delay. Their only offensive plays have been 3 handoffs, and they still scored a touchdown. So I hope that that's kind of how it continues. I think Hammond must have thrown one at some point because his attempts just went up by 1. But I'd like to see him run the ball, keep the clock moving. Let's just get everybody home. Yeah.
We've been talking for a few minutes. Already 4 minutes left. Deep pass on the right, complete to Valson. Let's get to the chat really quickly.
Adam rushed for another 15 yards.
Can Tech stop with the FCS opponents? Was La Tech or Mac School not available? Alan also say it was Hammond. That's where he ran it in.
Oh, okay. Go team.
Yeah, I would love to see teams move away from these FCS opponents. I understand that like these games have to happen to keep those schools alive and keep those athletic programs going. I mean, I don't know where that burden falls. Like if that's on Power 4 schools, like we have to have one of these games a year. I don't love it. Understand like kind of a necessary evil for maybe the greater good. I would love to see if I know this would like greatly limit who would be even able to do this, but like move this kind of game to like a scrimmage. You still potentially pay some of these teams, but it's more for a scrimmage instead of a actual result in the in the regular season,
like an exhibition.
But, yeah, like we had this in a 2 weeks ago type of thing, the end of fall camp or whatever. So
we just scored. Score app updated before broadcast somehow.
Hammond passed at the middle to Leighton Stone. So who said it that Leighton Stone would get the first or get a touchdown before Micah Hudson? That was probably, that would have been Ryan or Kyle on the last Gauchos episode.
So 3 minutes left into the third. Texas Tech scoring drives have gone like this: touchdown, touchdown, field goal, touchdown, 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 field goal, touchdown, touchdown, touchdown. Drive success rate 95%.
Yeah. You've got 23 of 27 passing for 293 yards, 5 touchdowns, no interceptions. They are still updating the rushing numbers here because they just took the team rush away for the touchdown there for Hammond, but 24 carries, 247 yards, 3 touchdowns, an average of 10.3 yards per carry. Obviously, that's going to be no, they just gave Hill the rushing touchdown for 64 yards. Anyways, I think he had, something like five carries for 35 yards or whatever it was, and I'm not in shambles. I'm gonna be okay.
I would hope so.
Cam Dickey 12 carries, 90 yards. Jacoby Williams 6 carries, 56 yards. What were your thoughts about the opening touchdowns of the season? When the first one going to Virgil, and the next two going to Terrence Carter?
Man, okay, so Terrence Carter, I don't know if it was because where I was sitting in the stadium. I'm sure his height and his size is probably a lot easier to grasp on TV. But this is my first time really watching him and seeing him. I caught myself both times. Well, every time he caught the ball, I was so impressed with how shifty he was, how fast he was, how quick he was. And then I realized who it was. And it just surprised me every time. I was like, man, who's this guy? Because I wasn't looking to see that he lined up in the tight end position. I thought it was some wide receiver or some slot receiver that we were trying out or something. How fast he was able to move. So that was great. I loved seeing him get involved early. He had, I think he had 3 catches. Well, he was targeted 3 times, and 2 of them were for touchdowns, and they were great. He got open. He made some plays in space. Yeah, for a guy that big, and I've seen the dunk videos and I've seen other things. I was still kind of blown away by how athletic he truly is, getting open and once he gets the ball.
Yeah, he had a play. Goodness, it was. I mean, it didn't get a lot of yards, but he made 2 different defenders miss 3 or 4 times, moving up the sideline to go from no gain to maybe a 5-yard gain, whatever it was. But it was like watching him do that in such tight space was really impressive. And then you realize, like, oh, that's a tight end, man. That's not like a That's not like a 5-star receiver, juking people out of their shoes. It's a tight end. It's just unbelievable. So, what do you? I mean, obviously, besides health, you want to make sure everybody's healthy. What do you want to see the rest of the way out from this game? I mean,
I want to see.
We don't have much time left. We're almost all the way through the third quarter at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I want to see Tech stick with a PAT kicker. They've trotted out 3 tonight. Harrington's gotten the most chances. I mean, everybody's 7 for 7. That's great. Belafont has 2 attempts, Hershey 1, and Harrington has 4 so far. So I want to see someone win that job, and that I never have to think about it again. I think field goals. What did we do there? I think we gave guys a couple of chances there. Yeah, Belafont and Harrington each had a 29 and 31 yard attempt, which of course they each made them, which is good. I know that that's the plan, is that this may be the only game where they do this kind of shuffling around, and then there will be a clear starter for the rest of the season. And that kind of goes back to, I wonder if the play calling, I think they probably read the room pretty quickly on those scoring drives. When they scored those touchdowns so quickly on the first 2 drives, I think when they did get stopped for a field goal, they probably, I'm not saying they let off the gas, but they probably were grateful to have a real, a real scenario where you need to get the field goal team out there, get them a rep, see how they do. So I know that I'm looking at through rose-colored glasses at that the offense they didn't just get stopped. They just thought, well, we'll try something a little bit riskier, and if it doesn't work, we'll get a field goal rep in. That's okay. But that's kind of what I'm saying, whether it's true or not. Like you said, health would be the obvious main concern. I want to see this defensive front be this disruptive in a couple of weeks. Kent State struggled with Merrimack today at home. I don't know if that's going to be much of an improvement in the opponent next week. We'll see. Who knows? But that's what I'm looking for is that disruptive nature that we got to see, the sacks, the quarterback just pleading to anyone who would listen to help him. I want that. I want that when Oregon State comes to town. I want that when we go to Utah. I just don't want it these first 2 weeks. I want it the rest of the year. So love to see it. And, that's what I said last time we recorded was I want to see such a disparity in the trenches that it almost doesn't seem fair. And that's basically what I saw tonight. So I feel like at the same time they did what they were supposed to do, and also at the same time they did manage to still impress me as they were doing it.
Yeah. So just go back to your kicking point. Harrington got the start for extra points, and he kicked the first 2 extra points. Belafont kicked the first field goal. And you had the swinging gate attempt on the 3rd touchdown.
I know. I went to the bathroom. I missed that. I came back and I thought that we'd missed a PAT, but it was a 2-point attempt, which.
Yeah, they shifted. They shifted formations twice, snapped it. Carter got tackled without obviously making it in, and then got flagged for illegal formation.
Great.
So,
well, try stuff out now, I guess.
Yeah, and then Harrington kicked the next PAT. Belafont kicked the PAT after Jacoby Williams' touchdown. Harrington kicked the field goal. And then you had Hershey kick a PAT. Belafont kicked the first PAT in the 3rd quarter. Harrington kicked the second PAT. So they're still rotating through that. I wonder if the next time a field goal comes up, they're going to put Hershey out there.
Mm-hmm.
Give them all a 1-for-1. Chris says there should be complete domination on both lines these first 2 games. I don't disagree. I would extend that to the first 3 games. Oregon State not looking too great so far, but it's early.
Yeah. Yep, it's early, but they are down 14-3 at home versus Cal. They were down 14-0 when we started recording.
Yeah, Cal's not good. Not good. All right. Anything else you want to end on before we get out of here? I'm going to go watch the 4th quarter.
I don't think so. I was just surprised to see. I guess I shouldn't have been, but I was kind of surprised to see how many targets Virgil had tonight. He was the second leading receiver targeted. Douglas had 6 targets. Virgil had 5. And then a lot of 3s and 2s beyond that. And some of those, of course, were when the 2s came in and when Hammond took over. So it does change things a little bit. But, that was a surprise to me. The game day atmosphere was great. I hadn't been to, an opening kickoff in quite some time. And it was packed. A lot of good vibes going on in the stadium. The tortillas felt really forced. After the opening kickoff, you're just seeing jackasses wad them up like ping pong balls and just throw them as hard as they can. And what are we doing now, man? People are grabbing up pieces and throwing pieces and just, it was kind of like I thought it would be. That I kind of wish Hoka hadn't have said anything, but since he did, and now we all feel like we've got this giant tortilla-sized chip on our shoulder that we've got to toss tortillas whenever we want, even when it doesn't make sense.
You say tortilla chip?
Yeah, we have a tostada. We've got a tostada on our shoulder. We've got a Mexican pizza on our shoulder. But anyway, that was kind of just mildly annoying. But
yeah,
the rest of it was great.
Alrighty. I would love to see just things get tightened up a little bit. You mentioned special teams. I'll just leave that one there. They did update the rushing totals. They have Hammond with 1 rush for 64 yards now. Adam Hill has 5 carries for 37 yards. Go ahead and let Adam Hill eat, I guess. Just let him. I guess the other thing was on punt return. Of all the things that had a shaky start for you, punt return has been the biggest in this game. Failed. Well,
there hasn't been one yet.
You didn't get a chance at the first punt.
Yeah.
You blocked the second one, but then Roy Alexander fumbled the next one, and he got it back. But I was like, let's not mess with that. Let's just catch the ball. We need to focus on the fundamentals here. Number one thing, you got to catch that thing. And that is the hardest hitting analysis you're going to get from this post-game podcast. That
catch that thing. And quit. One thing we didn't touch on either were penalties. There weren't very many so far, and there haven't been any in the second half, knock on wood, but 4 defensive penalties in the first half. Of course, one of them was that personal foul where Horn inadvertently, I'm sure, but clearly did commit targeting, unfortunately, on the quarterback during that slide attempt. So you can kind of let that one slide, no pun intended, because I don't think that was intentional. But you had a couple of holdings and an offsides call, and that offsides call was on a 3rd and 9. Fortunately, it wasn't on a 3rd and 4 or something that resulted in a first down. But that's like earlier, I'm nitpicking here, but would love to see a little bit cleaner game played on the penalty side. But in years past, we probably would have just drooled over having only 5 penalties in a half of football. So a grain of salt.
Yeah,
perspective.
I'm going to be irritated here when Arkansas Pine Bluff scores on this drive. It's their longest drive of the night. They're at 12 plays, 60 yards. They're inside the 10. Right now it's 61-0. Like, that's nothing to really be upset about, but
you're going to do it anyway.
Oh, there it is. They just scored. There were some moments in the first half where it felt like their receivers were getting some oddly good spacing on our corners, especially Pollock. I was like, wait a minute, man, you're supposed to be the best of the corners we have. And then obviously at this point, I can't even see who's in the game right now. And it makes zero difference that they scored, but just clean. Let's just make sure everybody stays healthy and we get out of here and everybody gets home tonight. But that'll do it for us here on the 23 Personnel Podcast. We will go check out the rest of this game. Get out of here. We will be back this week, Tuesday night, for the final recap of this game. Whip around, look at the Big 12 and how Kansas State and Matt Wells almost blew it against North Dakota, and not even one of the good Dakota schools. And then get you ready for Texas Tech taking on Kent State. So That'll do it for us. Texas Tech right now up 61-7. For Michael, I'm Spencer. We'll catch you next time.
Thank you for listening to the 23 Personnel Podcast. Help us out by subscribing, rating the show, and leaving a review. Follow us on Twitter at 23 Personnel, Spencer at Punt Suck, and Michael at Michael_LVK. Be sure to catch the next episode. And until then, guns up and let the tortillas fly.